All right, everyone, if you notice today's setup looks a little bit different because we are going over angles. So the objective is students will be able to use right angles to determine whether angles are equal to, greater than, or less than right angles. Before we get started, what is a right angle? If you look at these two red lines on my screen right now, this is a perfect right angle. Ignore that up there. For some reason, the website won't say that this is a right angle. But whenever you have a perfect corner like this, or like if I could put a paper on it and it's perfect, this is called a right angle. Anything bigger, so if these two lines open up to be bigger, is called an obtuse angle. So now it's right, it's actually telling you it's an obtuse angle. And if it's smaller than a perfect 90-degree angle or right angle, it is called an acute angle. So there are three types of angles. So that was acute, anything smaller, or right is a perfect corner, and an obtuse, which is anything more than a perfect corner. Notice how this bottom one is a little bit more that way, an obtuse one. So if I play around with this tool, I can make acute angles, I can make obtuse angles. Notice how if I move this line down here, I can still make a perfect right angle by putting this in a perfect corner. So when you look at angles today, what you are thinking is this angle a perfect corner? Is it smaller than or less than? Or is it greater than? So whenever you think an angle is greater than a perfect corner, it's going to look like this, and it's going to be called an obtuse angle. It could also be like this, or even almost a line like this. It could be 91 degrees, and it is still considered an obtuse angle. When you have a perfect corner, that is called a right angle. So whenever you think of a right angle, you can think of a corner or a perfect edge of a paper. And finally, there is acute, which is anything smaller than. So in today's lesson, you will be able to tell me, or in today's problem set, you'll be able to tell me, is this angle acute, right, or obtuse? Whenever you see obtuse, you're thinking greater than, because it's bigger, right? Whenever you think acute, you are thinking less than. Okay, so in your sentences, it will say, is this angle greater than or less than a right angle? This is a right angle, so if it's acute or smaller, it will be less than. And if it is obtuse or bigger, it'll be greater than. Whenever you see a perfect right angle that looks just like this, that will be a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle or a right angle. So let's look here. So I'm going to take, and you might want to do this too. I'm going to do a couple problems with you. I have questions 1, 2, and 3 here. Let's see. Does this look like an acute angle to you or an obtuse angle? Well, it's smaller than a corner of a paper, so I can't put a perfect corner of a paper there, see? So this is actually an acute angle, and it is less than a right angle. Let's look here. We have this big old piece of pizza there. Well, that's definitely not a right angle because the corner of a paper does not fit there perfectly, and it's bigger. So it's actually an obtuse angle. Let's check out number 3. Number 3 looks close. Oh, still not a perfect corner. So it's probably not a right angle, and it's not smaller. So this one is greater than a right angle. So it's an obtuse angle. And we'll go through 3 more. I have this one. Is this guy smaller or less than a right angle or bigger than a right angle? Oh, it's a lot smaller. This is an acute angle. And it would be called, it would be less than a right angle. Notice how this is a big angle. When you're thinking of how big an angle or how small an angle is, you are thinking of how much fits inside. So little mouth, bigger mouth, perfect mouth. Little mouth, big mouth. This is a big old mouth. So this is probably an obtuse angle. And we know that an obtuse angle is greater than a right angle because it's so much larger. It's so much bigger. It's like it's opened its mouth a lot more. And finally, we have over here, number 6. Does this look like an obtuse or an acute or a right angle to you? I can tell you that this is an obtuse angle. Look how big the mouth is. Look how big the piece of pizza is. And because it's an obtuse angle, I know that it is greater than a right angle. And that's how you're going to do the problem set today, okay? You will know a right angle when you see one because for the last time, it will be a perfect corner. It will be a perfect corner. Acute, you can think of it as cute, little, cute, acute, smaller. Right, perfect corner, perfect corner, perfect corner, perfect. People always right? Right angle. Obtuse, you just have one big guy. Anything bigger than a right angle, anything that opens its mouth more than a right angle will be obtuse. All right, and make sure to use the sentence frames in the assignment.